Health Service faces huge problems in their fight against MRSA and hospital-related infections, commonly referred to as superbugs. Investment by the private and public sectors into research and development of products and services that will combat the superbug menace is playing a crucial role in helping the NHS eliminate bacteria and reduce the risk of infection and cross-contamination of hospital patients. In this programme, we speak to Derek Butler, chairman of MRSA Action UK, the charity set up to raise public awareness and to influence government and healthcare providers in the fight to prevent MRSA and all healthcare infections. We also hear from leading anti-superbug innovators CK Cleaning, Preventec, Glowtech Limited and Twyford Bathrooms, who share their knowledge of fighting hospital infections and talk about the research and development that has gone into developing their anti-superbug innovations.
A hospital-acquired infection can be very serious, depending on where the infection is on the person. If you have a small boil or a pimple and it's infected with MRSA, it doesn't necessarily have to be very serious. If it's left alone and not treated, then it can become serious. If it's in a catheter or it's in a wound site, then it can become, again, more serious. But the most life-threatening is in the bloodstream. Hence why the government measure bloodstream bacteremias, because the bloodstream is a sterile environment. It cannot have infections in there because it kills. Now, there are varying degrees of types of MRSA. You've got MRSA 15, MRSA 16, and they're hospital acquired, but you've got community acquired infections as well, which are a threat to us. And what we have to do is to look at those, and the way to treat them is to avoid them. If we can avoid the infections, we don't need to treat them. That's the first course of action. But if you get an infection and it's MRSA, it's not always life-threatening, but it is if it gets in the bloodstream, and it can kill within very few hours, maybe 48 hours, maybe 72. For C. diff, it's a different scenario, because everyone carries C. diff in their gut. And what happens is when you've got an infection and you take an antibiotic, and this is where the public need to be aware, those antibiotics kill good bacteria and bad bacteria. Now, the bacteria can live quite healthily on this planet without us, but we can't live without them. So we have to learn to live with them. Now, when you take an antibiotic, it kills the good bacteria as well as the bad. Some of the real nasty ones, like C. diff, are then given free rein to go all over the body. There's nothing to stop them, because good bacteria keep the bad bacteria at bay. And C. diff is a problem in the environment because it's a different type of bacteria. It leaves spores in the environment, so it's much harder to control. And that is the real superbug in this country at the moment, is C. diff. It kills more people in our hospitals. A lot of people are a little afraid of the private sector within the NHS. Personally, from my own experience as chair of a charity, I'm not bothered who gives me my healthcare. The role of the government is to procure my healthcare. Who gives it me then, I'm not bothered. A prime example is there's an argument about cleaning contracts. Is it the private contractors that do a better job, or the NHS staff in the hospital? Personally, I'm not bothered who does it, private contractors or the NHS staff. What I'm interested in is that whoever does it is given the appropriate resources, the appropriate time and the appropriate training to ensure that the cleaning is done in a proper manner. Not who does it, how it's done is more important. However, when we do this deep cleaning and we do the steam cleaning, what we should be doing afterwards is finding out how the bugs are coming back in, because that's always going to happen. We're never going to keep them out of the hospital environment. They're always going to come back in. So we need to learn how do they get back in, and then we can take precautions to prevent them.
It was approximately a year ago that the government launched the initiative for the deep cleaning programme. The budget for this was approximately £50 million, and it was to cover all hospital trusts across the UK. Each trust took it on their own demands, how they spent the money, whether they brought private contractors in or whether they carried it out in-house. CK Group have been trading in the cleaning industry for over 30 years. IDCS is the newest division of the CK Group. It stands for Intensive Deep Cleaning Systems. And what it does, it brings together proven technologies, or cleaning technologies, to provide one deep cleaning service for a healthcare environment. We've brought proven technologies such as air management, microfiber, ultrasonics, dry steam vapour, all together, so that we can clean hospital wards, operating theatres, any department within the healthcare environment. Once a piece of equipment is cleaned and decontaminated, we tag it with a tag such as this, which on the back has got the area, whether it be a ward or department, together with the date it was cleaned and the operatives who cleaned it, signature and printed name. This then gives the hospital an asset tracking system of when and where that piece of equipment was cleaned, so they can then decide how often they wish it to be cleaned, whether it be 6 monthly, yearly, monthly, whatever's in their budgets. I'd like to talk about 2 systems that we use within the deep cleaning procedure within the healthcare environment at the moment. One of those is dry steam cleaning, the other is ultrasonic cleaning. Dry steam cleaning has been around now for 20 years. There's nothing new about dry steam cleaning. The difference in the system that we use is the attachments that go on the end of the steam hose. These have been specifically designed for the healthcare environment to decontaminate a bed, patient's bed, drip stands, commodes, practically any piece of equipment within the healthcare environment. The ultrasonic cleaning is a totally different and a fairly new type of technology within the healthcare environment. Although ultrasonics has been around for 40 years now, it was first invented with the atom bomb. It was used for cleaning the atom bomb. We're now starting to bring it into the healthcare environment, dipping commodes, dipping larger pieces of equipment such as wheelchairs, decontaminating them and then putting them back on the hospital wards, giving the patients a good feel factor about all the equipment. Another product that we provide for our clients at the CK Group is a training program specifically for intensive deep cleaning. We use all the systems, all the machinery which we've spoken about earlier on, and put these all together for in-house teams. Some hospital trusts don't like using contractors, so we'll send teams in to train the in-house teams.
Steam cleaning works if it's done properly. The Health Protection Agency showed that when the government asked the hospitals to do the deep clean, only 10% of the hospitals actually did it to the Health Protection Agency's actual advice. Steam cleaning on its own will not kill the bacteria because you're not exposing them to heat long enough. What you need to do is use the steam cleaning along with hydrogen peroxide and the vaporizing method of using forms of bleach to kill the bacteria in the places where it's hard to access them. And cleaning a hospital is a scientific approach. You can't just have somebody with a mop and a bucket. It doesn't work anymore. These bugs have become very clever and they're very, very tough to destroy.
The development of dry steam vapor cleaning combined with microfiber was originally researched as a preliminary pilot by the DH in 2005. As a result of that successful investigation, the Osprey Deep Clean organization took that original data and expanded into the full potential of what dry steam vapor could actually do when applied to the cleaning and decontamination of hospital surfaces. Unfortunately, there were no standards for cleaning that we could actually measure against in the same way as chemical disinfection, so we had to go to an ISO registered organization to develop standards. That was TNO in the Netherlands, the Laboratory for Life Sciences, and they developed a test standard which we could then evaluate the performance of cleaning using dry steam vapor alone without any chemical or detergent material. The development of the tools was happening concurrently, where we were looking at particular types of equipment that were difficult to clean. You couldn't get access to fingers or flat surfaces, rigid tools trying to clean flexible surfaces. So the company undertook simultaneously the development of some novel tools which we were able to test at the same time. We went about purposely contaminating those hospital surfaces and then cleaning them using the tools, and we were measuring the performance of that cleaning process pre-cleaning and post-cleaning to look at the comparison between the performance of the individual tools. This took somewhere nearly about 18 months in terms of development. It wasn't just a matter of a quick design and this is going to work. It actually took several months of design and redesign to validate the particular process. The conclusion of those studies is that we now have a system which has been integrated for cleaning most of the equipment and certainly all of the types of surfaces that you would find in a hospital using dry steam vapor and microfiber and in conjunction with vacuum extraction. So the overall strategy is for steam vapor to act as a catalyst that will clean surfaces by effective removal of soil and microorganisms from those surfaces. Not necessarily killing, because thermal disinfection doesn't always take place. Some organisms, such as Clostridium difficile spores, for example, are extremely resilient. But even when testing with spores, such as C. diff, on the hospital surfaces, we've been able to demonstrate consistent cleaning throughout the trial process. And we're happy now to report that the standards have been validated for dry steam vapor cleaning, and that is now published as part of the formal T&O report and is going forward for peer review in professional publications. With the introduction of dry steam vapor and microfiber cleaning technology within the NHS, we've had some feedback from directors of infection prevention and infection control people that they are surprised that we're able to achieve such high levels of decontamination using water alone without the addition of any disinfectants or detergents to achieve thorough cleanliness. When we've looked back at where we've come from in terms of cleaning, we've been very used to using disinfectants and detergents, some of which have some very difficult problems associated with them, damage to surfaces, harmful possibly to the staff that are using them, certain issues with odor and upper respiratory issues, and the worst case scenario is where we have microorganisms that become desensitized to the disinfectants, potentially resulting in mutation of those organisms and resistance developing, and that's the worst thing that can actually happen within the healthcare environment. So the use of water is obviously natural occurring, is balanced within the environment, and we can use it extremely effectively to remove soil and material through the steam vapor and microfiber process.
The first prevention for hospital-acquired infections is hand hygiene. We must get staff and visitors and the patients to wash their hands regularly, and especially the staff before treating a patient and after treating a patient. Now, we know the World Health Organization have what they call the 5 moments of contact with a patient, telling you when you should wash your hands and when not to. But we need to educate them, because we are promoting the alcohol gels. But the alcohol gel only works on certain bacteria. For C. diff, it actually makes the situation worse. The best way to prevent infections is to wash your hands, then gel them, before and after contact, before and after going to the toilet, before and after eating meals. We need to get back down to the basics of hygiene. We need to make sure the hospitals are clean and they are kept clean. But these two things will not cure these infections and reduce them to the level that we think can be achieved. Assiduously teaching the staff to wash their hands becomes habit forming. Aristotle, the Greek philosopher, once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence then is not an act, it's a habit, and it has to become habit forming. My father's 87, one of the old generation. He'll wash his hands before going to the toilet, after, before a meal, after, and he taught me when I was a child, "Have you washed your hands?" "Yes, Dad." "I haven't seen you do it." "Wash them in front of me." And the staff need to do that to the patients. They need to look at the patients and say to them, "I'm going to wash my hands so you know I'm taking every precaution." But we need to use the technologies. Some of the staff in the NHS have done a marvellous job. Some have a long way to go. But they need to ensure that every member of staff washes their hands, because we're only attaining 70% compliance on hand hygiene. Even after 150 years since Florence Nightingale showed it works.
Simplicity itself. What we have here is a moisturiser based hand cream which contains an active UV ingredient. So it's squirted onto the hands and rubbed well into the skin, and effectively then it'll vanish. Glowtech are a family-based business based in Lancashire, and we design, manufacture and develop a whole range of glow-in-the-dark products and ultraviolet based products. We initially started off developing this concept of a cosmic ceiling, which is glow-in-the-dark colours and deep space effects on the ceiling, which are invisible during the daytime and that glow in the dark during the night. And of course, whilst you're doing that, your hands tend to be covered in all kinds of glow-in-the-dark residues. And it was that glow-in-the-dark residue on the hands that led us to conceive of a new hand-washing system that would help train the NHS staff in the removal of potential harmful bacteria. Because if they can get the residues off the skin that glow, then they would have actually come away with clean hands. So we introduced a new product, and we're here at the Barbican to launch that new product. It's the Wash and Glow hand washing system.
can see what the dangers are, and also a visual method where you can check whether these are being, whether the procedures are being carried out to the required level.
Well, the fundamental problem with hand washing is, of course, you can't see the bacteria and the microbes on the hands. So our principle is to make those visible by reproducing them, simulating them, if you like. So we use a special hand lotion which also moisturizes the skin. So the attendee, the trainer, would then apply the hand lotion to the hands and rub it well in. The hands would then glow bright green under the light. It's an amazing effect to see. People love that. So they would then go away and wash the hands in the way they would normally do. They would come back and put the hands back under the lamp. Now at this point, if they haven't washed the hands properly, there will be traces of the ultraviolet residue under the fingernails, around the watch, rings, any jewellery they may have, and across the thumbs. So that is proving the point. It's a very visual system. So from going to a situation where you can't see a microbe to something that's glowing bright green. So the point is made. Then the training kicks in. So the instructor will demonstrate the correct way of washing hands. The whole process is then repeated, and hopefully this time the person will come back and the hands will be clear. There is a real need for hand wash training, and this essentially is to overcome the assumption that everybody has that they wash their hands well. Everybody thinks they wash their hands correctly, and most people do not. So we produce a range of hand washing training kits that will help trainers give a very visual, fun and memorable training to people so they can actually see what it is they're washing off and know that the end result is a clean pair of hands.
I think it was been an absolute eye-opener. The visualisation of the product on your hands before you washed them, then when you went away and you washed them how you thought they should be washed, to come back only to find that there were still particles, obviously, where bacteria and dirt can still hide, and then to go away and wash them properly and see how that had gone, that was made clearly visible by the product itself. Invaluable.
The initial trials with the wash and glow training kits within the NHS went really well, but having given the training, the trainers would then turn to us and say, well, now the people know what they are to do, we're worried about them forgetting what they've learned on the hand wash training. Is there anything we can do to help? So we developed a product called the Checkpoint, and this product will then be used on an everyday basis. So as the healthcare workers comes to start the shift, they would normally wash their hands, but now they would use the wash and glow fluid, put it on the hands, go and wash, and come back and check it's been properly done. This reinforces the hand washing technique and makes sure that they know they're going to start work with clean hands. When they finish the shift, they repeat the process to make sure they're not taking the bugs home.
The most appealing thing, I feel, from a woman's point of view, is that it's got a built-in moisturiser as well. So, you know, you've got nice soft hands, and hopefully gentlemen are like that as well. So, yeah, I think it's a really good product.
Using the Checkpoint system will also benefit the management of the hospitals. All hospitals have to comply with hygiene regulations, which are getting stricter. So managerial due diligence can be used by applying random spot checks on staff. If the staff are using the Checkpoint correctly each day, then they should be coming away with clear hands without any traces of UV reactive elements on there. They've got to realise that there is a real link between what you do, a simple task like washing your hands, and saving lives. It really is worth that extra effort. My own father suffered really badly for many months with a hospital-acquired infection. I know what it's like at both ends of the scale. It's not just about selling products. We'd love to sell lots of products, but it's actually about making a difference. And we can all do that, and we can do it ever so simply. We just wash our hands frequently.
A person with C. diff with severe diarrhea, the aerialistic spray from a person having diarrhea or projectile vomiting travels 9 feet in each direction. So you've got roughly an 18 feet diameter where the spores and the bacteria will spread from that one person. What happens to the environment then? It's become contaminated. So you clean the toilet, but what about the whole environment around it? Because the spores are still there. If you have a commode at the bed of the patient, if that happens, you need to clean the environment completely around that patient. So that's why toilet hygiene, bathroom hygiene is critical. We need to make the toilets easy to clean, because it's a science. It's not just about cleaning them, it's how you clean them. and the person is trained to do it correctly.
Twyford bathrooms have been manufacturing sanitary ware for over 150 years. In fact, we're the biggest single ceramic brand in the UK. About 5 years ago, we started focusing on the healthcare sector, which is a very important area for us. And I'm pleased to say we're now the industry leader in that area with our expertise in product development for those facilities. Twyford is proud of its history of innovation. In fact, Thomas Twyford was the first man to invent the all-in-one flushing WC way back 125 years ago. We've carried that on through to today. We were the first people to put together a range of products for the healthcare sector for disabled people, and we've moved on now with real innovation by producing the first truly rimless WC. You can see that unlike standard WCs, it doesn't have that rim or that hidden channel where germs can harbour. It's really easy to clean, it's easy to spot if there's any dirt, just to wipe round. And it operates very simply from these self-draining jets at the back. These propel the water round the WC and it simply washes the deposit away. Not only that, but it also does it very effectively with only 4 litres of water instead of the usual 6. So not only is it truly hygienic, it's also water saving. The rimless WC was designed here at our design centre in Stoke-on-Trent, and it was done to conform to the healthcare regulations. HTM 64 is a set of guidelines that healthcare facilities have to adhere to. One of the requirements in the update that came about in 2006 was for a truly rimless WC. So that's what we went to have a look at. The WC has self-draining jets at the back of the pan, and when the toilet is flushed, the water comes out of those jets and runs round the WC without any kind of rim. So it's all done with the design and the angles of the internal shape of the WC. The other benefit of the rimless WC is the fact it's water saving. Standard WCs flush with 6 litres of water as a norm. This one flushes with 4 just as effectively. And you can imagine in a hospital, not only does that save them hundreds of thousands of litres of water, but it's also pretty good for the purse strings. Twyford are very proud of their rimless WC, and it's now being used in numerous hospitals across the UK, including Birmingham and North Staffs. And we're delighted as well because we actually won Best Product for Hospital Interiors by Building Better Healthcare Awards. Fitting and using the Twyford rimless WC is part of the solution to combating MRSA. It can also be supported by the healthcare staff themselves, ensuring that they clean the product correctly, and they also take care of their own personal hygiene, always remembering to wash your hands after you've used the facility. It should also be mentioned that the rimless WC is actually great value. It's no more expensive than a standard WC, but has additional benefits, including the fact it's water saving that can save a facility thousands of pounds a year, and it helps combat MRSA. We're proud at Twyford that we've revolutionised toilet design, and we've done it specifically for the healthcare sector, really setting new standards in toilet hygiene for them. We will continue to work with our healthcare customers, ensuring we're creating the right products to suit their facilities and their requirements against the battle against MRSA.
There is still a fog of ignorance over hospital infections despite years of warnings. We hope this programme has gone some way into highlighting the need for the continued war against superbugs and the important role the private sector can play if this war is to be won. This is Georgina Burnett, and you've been watching Tackling MRSA and Other Hospital-Related Infections.